Ladies and gentlemen, Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you all here. Well, this is the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Millions go without pay, benefits, and hope. So, of course, these federal workers are suffering. That's why they're turning to food banks and trying to get help out here just to get by. And, I think it's a shame that you got a system set up where only top officials get paid, but anybody else that works for the government have to go without pay. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. But this is where we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got some videos that I put together. And, everybody's talking about this now officially being the longest government shutdown of all time. The second was in Donald Trump's first term when he was the sitting president. So it has now officially surpassed that. Well, my heart goes out to anybody out here that is struggling and you have all this uncertainty on when this government will open back up. It doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Shutdown is now in its 36th day, making it the longest in American history. It all began on October 1st when Congress failed to agree on a new funding deal. It left government workers without paychecks and millions of Americans without essential services. Democrats and Republicans have remained gridlocked for weeks without any signs of a compromise. However, there is some hope. Some senators from both sides appear to be working together on a possible plan. All right, but if Democrats and Republicans don't come to an agreement anytime soon, it could affect Canadians as we approach the busy holiday travel period. The network used by Canadian and American air traffic controllers are integrated, but U.S. air traffic controllers are currently not getting paid, you guessed it, because of that shutdown. The transportation secretary warns parts of the U.S. airspace could shut down as early as next week if staffing levels aren't maintained, which would leave millions of travelers in limbo.
We are now in the longest government shutdown in American history. And that sounds like it's just a headline, but this ain't just about politics. It's about the single mother who's waiting on assistance and the federal workers who are actually working for free. It's about the small airports who don't have enough workers to land planes. And this ain't just a shutdown, this is a stress test. A stress test for the whole country. Have you ever unplugged something just to see if it'll still be working after? That's exactly what they're doing with America right now. They unplugged everything and they watching to see what break first. And guess what? It's going to be the people. And this what ain't nobody telling you. Shutdowns are not accidental. They are pressure points. It's a tactic. It's the way that they push policies by starving the system until somebody gives in. It's like holding your breath until somebody gives you exactly what you want. The government not going to be the ones to pass out. We are. So stay tuned because the next 30 days is about to show you what parts of America are held together by duct tape and prayer. I was born to. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, good America. It is I, once again. It's Morris. Let me tell you one thing. It is hot, hilarious to me how the Republican Party
will get on national TV, stand up there at the podium and pretend like Obamacare is still not an not a Republican policy. I don't know if everybody remembers that. Come in, come in, come in, shh, 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 come in, come in. I know what I said. 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 Come on in, sit down. Because people have short attention spans. And what happens when you have a short attention span is that you normally forget a lot of shit. So come on, sit down, gather around. Let me tell you a story. So when Obama was in office, he was trying to fix the healthcare system. I know you don't remember this. I know you don't remember this because Democrats don't do shit. But come on, sit down. Let me tell you a story. So Obama literally took this policy from the Republicans. This policy that they don't want to fund today literally was on their side. They wrote it, they sponsored it. Obama took it, literally took it, ran with it, put his name on it. I mean, truly, he didn't put his name on it. But somehow, some way, we call it Obamacare, but it's really the Affordable Health Care, okay? And it was the Affordable Health Care Act that got passed. But today, AKA known Obamacare, okay? But literally, it's a Republican who wrote it, sponsored it. They voted for it heavily. The Democrats are, I don't know, but he our president and he the leader of our party at this moment. So we don't know what we want to do.
You know, Donald Trump is making history in the worst possible sense. He is presiding over the longest government shutdown in the history of the United States.
Losing supplemental nutritional assistance known as SNAP, that has people scared and angry, especially here in the Bronx.
I was scared, because I'm saying to myself, okay, how am I going to feed my family? Try to save a little bit of money, but then, the money that you get, it can't stretch to buy food, it's not enough. So, it's scary because you don't want your kids to starve, you don't want to starve, you don't want to go out there and rob and hurt anybody, so you just have to try to give it a God and try to figure out how to make it.
Are we really on day 37 of the government shutdown? Is this a real thing? Is it really happening? The answer is yes. Now, a lot of people, so many people, have said that the Democrats are the reason for the government shutdown. Y'all, be so damn for real. The Democrats literally would not sign that bullshit ass bill that he sent them because it was going to affect every single person in America's health care, meaning health insurance and how much you have to pay for that and what all comes with it. So before y'all start pointing fingers, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a damn Democrat, all that shit's scam and rigged. But my point is, this is the longest government shutdown in history, y'all, on a president that has been impeached twice.
Regardless of who you think is responsible for this shutdown, whether it be Democrats or Republicans, it's costing the American taxpayer millions of dollars per day. With the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, estimating that it's costing about $400 million per day with the furloughed workers, and that it's going to result in a permanent loss of about $7 billion to $14 billion for the U.S. economy. The previously longest shutdown, so prior to this, during the Trump administration, was 35 days. We're now on day 37. CBO estimated that that cost $11 billion. So we're already longer than that, and it's expected to go longer, so we can expect that to cost us more money. Not only that, but the Trump administration can add to it that this is the longest a congressperson has waited to be sworn into Congress. I'm speaking about Adelita Grijalva, who has been waiting at least 36 days to be sworn in. In addition, the aviation industry has been taking a major hit, with the FAA announcing that they'll reduce air traffic by 10% across 40 major markets. As air traffic controllers who have to work have been calling out due to fatigue, stress, and unpaid work conditions. So again, regardless of who you blame for the shutdown, the president is the end of the road. Trump is the final say. He needs to come to the table with solutions, with ways to compromise, and we need to extend the ACA funding. We need to fund SNAP benefits. We need to get the country back on its feet. It's about to be the holidays, and nobody wants this shutdown to continue.
Congressmen in Tennessee are now calling the government shutdown the difference between life and death. A cold front is headed towards Tennessee, and Monday, the temperature highs are going to be in the 30s. Each year, thousands of Tennesseans take advantage of a government program called LHEAP, or Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Now, because it's funded by the government and the government is shut down, they're not receiving those funds that are helping people with their utilities and keeping their heat on. They're using leftover funds right now and have about enough to get through the week, but after that, they say they don't have a plan B. The Knox County Community Actions Committee, or the CAC, is in charge of LHEAP. They're still encouraging people to go ahead with their applications and to come see them in person in their office if you've already received your notice of disconnection. They're doing the best with what they can, but they're definitely hoping that the government opens back up soon.
The United States is in uncharted territory at this point. The government shutdown has now stretched into its 37th day, which means that this is the longest shutdown in American history. It began as a political standoff in Washington, but since then it has evolved, it has transformed into a nationwide economic and political crisis, because let's not pretend that a government shutting down for longer than a month is a normal thing. Nowhere in the world is this a normal thing. Earlier, I posted this on my Telegram. The shutdown is costing the U.S. economy an estimated $15 billion every single week. This has become a very challenging situation for millions of Americans, and I would like to spend some time discussing it today. Unlike previous shutdowns, this one shows no sign of ending soon or easily reversing its damage. In past shutdowns, the economic pain was very real, but at the same time, it was short-lived. Federal workers eventually received back pay. They knew that they would. There were no questions about it. Government contracts resumed and growth rebounded. But this time around, the recovery may not be so simple. The U.S. economy is far more fragile than it was 7 years ago. Inflation remains a top concern for American households, and job growth has slowed. In addition to all of those things, confidence in Washington's ability to manage even basic governance is weakening. And beyond the 650,000 temporarily laid off federal workers, millions of Americans are beginning to feel the ripple effects in their daily lives too. There's a very interesting article recently released by Bloomberg, and according to the article, economists are warning that what used to be a temporary disruption could now turn into a sustained economic drag. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that if the shutdown continues through Thanksgiving, up to $14 billion in economic output will be permanently lost, meaning they will be gone forever. Weekly losses ranging between $10 billion and $30 billion are already being recorded across industries. According to Bloomberg, the Trump administration has suggested that not all furloughed workers will be retroactively paid. Meanwhile, the official unemployment rate will likely soon rise to 4.7%, up from 4.3%, because tens of thousands of government workers are counted as temporarily jobless. What's important to understand is that the federal shutdown's damage goes well beyond Washington. It doesn't stop there. Private contractors that rely on federal funding are now facing layoffs and halted projects. An estimated $24 billion in federal spending on goods and services has been frozen. Companies that build roads, that manage, let's say, defense contracts, or that provide cleaning services.
When the U.S. government shuts down, it's not a movie. It's real people going unpaid. The current shutdown has now smashed the 2018 record of 35 days, hitting 36 and counting. It happens every time Congress can't agree on funding, forcing agencies to lock up under the Anti-Deficiency Act. Workers suffer, politics play out, and history repeats. Like and follow to stay updated on the chaos inside Washington.
Guys, let's clap. We've made history, the longest running government shutdown in U.S. history. That means this weekend, another missed paycheck. That's 2. I don't know about nobody else. I can't speak for nobody else. But baby, yeah, I don't have it. Mentally, I don't have it.
Why is we figure?
I don't have it. Yeah. And that's it. That's the post. Day 36 of a government shutdown. 2 missed checks. I don't have it.
Thank you.
And I don't think none of us have it. But yet, we're supposed to keep coming to work.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up today. We appreciate you.
Call your Congress. Tell them to open this shit up. And let's not forget about the people who got other stuff going on outside of work, outside of not getting paid. What about the people who have family in Jamaica? They ain't heard from them. Can't reach them, can't speak to them. Can't send them no barrel, you can't help. Because at this point, they can't help themselves. Rent is due. How they gonna pay their rent? Bills is due. You think these collectors worrying about some government shutdown? No, they want that money on the 1st, on the 15th, on the 10th. They want it. And y'all just expect us to keep coming to work.
Well, good morning, everyone. Joining us this morning for the latest updates, we have some members of the Republican Governance Group, one of our most active caucuses in the Republican side. These are folks among our friends and colleagues, the most productive, most dedicated, most effective members because they are people who work every day on solutions for the greatest challenges facing our country. And Carlos Jimenez is with us, and Blake Moore, and Julie Fedorchik, and Gabe Evans. Beth Van Dyne may be joining us. I think she had a flight delay. But they've been out in their districts working very hard to help their constituents navigate through the chaos that's been created by the Democrat shutdown. And if you're keeping count, this is day 37. It seems unbelievable to us that we've gone this long. It is officially and shamefully the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Republicans feel very helpless about the situation because, as we've noted, there is really nothing for us to negotiate. We sent them a clean CR, as you know, back in September 19th. We passed it out of the House. It feels like a lifetime ago, but that was a nonpartisan measure. It was 24 pages in length. It has no Republican priorities on it at all. It was merely the status quo to keep the lights on so that the members of Congress, the Republican and Democrat Party, could work together to finish the government funding appropriations process. And the Democrats tried to turn that into a game. Now, we're gonna give you the latest updates on that and where we think this is headed. But I just first want to address in a bit more detail the current state of our politics. It has been very interesting to us to see all the pundits trying to spin the results of the election on Tuesday. I just want to point out some simple facts here, and as usual, I try to be concise and give you the highlights here. But there's some things that we really need to point out. First, there were no surprises on Tuesday night. Okay, you had blue states and blue cities that voted blue, to the alarm of no one, to the surprise of no one. That was what was expected. It just so happened that New York and New Jersey and Virginia were the states that were in the national spotlight on Tuesday. If the tables had been turned and if the calendar had been different and you had 3 red states, we'd have an entirely different narrative that you all would be writing about. Don't lose the simple facts. Second, the big headline that everyone is writing about appropriately is that the future of the Democrats was set in New York City. A 34-year-old Marxist is now the leader of the Democratic Party, and it is a very dangerous road for them to go down. I want to say this because a lot's been said about the Mamdani campaign. It is very easy to run and win as a socialist, right? All you do is promise everything to everyone for free. What a great message that is. Well, that really resonates for people who don't study history. And while you're making all those promises, you hope that they never realize the trap that you're actually setting, the impossibility of fulfilling your fantastical claims and dreams, and the extreme danger and chaos that would result if you ever could. When you run as a socialist, you have to hope that they never understand that this will lead to the inevitable loss of their freedom, their opportunity, and their security, the loss of meritocracy and fairness in society, the loss of colorblindness, and the loss of emphasis on character, and the morality and the personal incentive and the common sense that we rely upon to keep a republic in operation. If you run as a socialist, you run on a big list of false claims. You promise everything to everyone and you can't deliver. And if you were ever able to deliver, it would be to the great detriment of the very people that you lured in to vote for.
Y'all, by the time this government opens back up, it is going to be a mess up in here. It is going to be horrible. And the thing is, as of yet, when you listen to the news, there is no indication that they're even coming back to the table to negotiate. And I don't think they will. If they do, it ain't going to be anytime soon. I think this is going to linger on as long as they can. And my heart goes out to any of them because I know some of my subscribers do work for the government. And my heart goes out to you because I know it's got to be rough being without an income, even if you're in a two-income home. When you don't have that one income, trust me, it makes a huge difference in what you can do. And then you have a lot of people, it's just themselves that they are taken care of, and now that income is not there, so they have nothing. So I pray that you make it through the best that you can. I hope somebody is there to help you to get through because this is definitely horrific on them. But, this is what happens when you have morally bankrupt people running the place. They don't make things better. Since I've been alive on this earth, I haven't seen these people make one single thing better, and they never will. They never will. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I hope you can come back at 1:45. That's when I will be having the Bible study. So I hope to see you then. And then my final live stream at 3:45 is JD Vance, who was raised on welfare and food stamps, and how he speaks against it now. So the very thing that helped him when he was growing up, he opposes for anybody to have. Go figure. Thank you for the super chat, PM 2290. The Most High is allowing white tea supremacy to self cannibalize. Hold on, it went by kind of fast. As he clears the way for his return, sit back, live righteous, and keep your prayers. Thank you, as always, Lisa Shalom. Well, Shabbat Shalom to you. And thank you for your support for my channel. So I'm going to conclude, y'all. I will see you at 1:45. Shalom, family.